Welcome back. Hi, my name is Tracy and welcome to my home here in Sussex, England. In fact, welcome to my car because we're about to go out charity shop shopping, thrift shopping. We're going for a haul. There's a few places I want to go to, a few different towns I'm going to visit, and I would love you to come along with me. Let's see what we can find and then we'll bring those items home, give them a clean up or a paint or whatever we need to do with them, and then I'll show you how I style them in my home. So this is a local town that has lots of charity shops. I walk up one side of the high street and back down the other side, and I may well cover about 10 different shops. Shops in the UK tend to be a lot smaller than in America, and they tend to be predominantly clothes. So when you're on the hunt for home decor, for bric-a-brac, you've really got to work hard to find it. I love my earthenware and stoneware, so I'm always on the lookout for those sorts of pieces. But as always, the price has got to be absolutely spot on, and the piece has got to work cohesively with everything else that I have curated over the years. It may not be immediately obvious as to how it's going to work in my home, but there'll always be some element there. It might be something that I can change, or it's a colorway, it's a texture, a shape. Here, for example, is a big wad of material for £3, perfect for covering chair seat pads. As my style is rustic neutrals, I just naturally gravitate to anything of that colorway, and I'm particularly drawn to browns and rusts and creams at the moment. Other things I gravitate towards that I'm always on the lookout for are pictures and jugs. It doesn't matter whether the colorway is right or not because they're so easy to transform, but of course the price has always got to be right. This one's quite interesting, good size, good weight, but that price is a little bit too heavy for me. Wood is something else that I'm an absolute sucker for. I will always gravitate to anything wooden. You just never know what you might be able to do with it. Glassware, particularly cut glass, is something I'm always on the lookout for because it is so cheap in these places compared to your normal standard plain glass that you're buying from shops. Why waste time with that when you could be drinking out of these beautiful cut glass lead crystal glasses as your day-to-day wear? I love vintage books and I style with them all over my home. One thing I do when I'm in places like this, I always take off the dust jacket because you never know what's underneath and how beautiful that could look on your coffee table or indeed anywhere in your home. Now we're going to head off to one of my most favourite places. This is a wonderful charity. It deals with end-of-life care and I support it as much as I possibly can. This is mainly furniture and they always have a great selection. I mean, here we've got oak chairs for just £5. Insane value. I've had some fabulous pieces from here over the years. I got the bed, the brass bed for the cottage from here for £75. and it's a bed that's worth over a couple of £1,000. They also have some smaller items here, so I'm often on the lookout for brass candlesticks. You can't go wrong with a brass candlestick, can you? Lamps. Lamps are so expensive to buy, particularly the big ones, and I can always do a makeover on a lamp. There's a video if you want to watch it. I'll link it in the description below. Other things that I find here, wicker baskets, trays, wooden trays, wicker trays. Again, you can't go wrong with something like that. But here, chairs, there's always lots and lots of chairs. I mean, some of these are just ridiculously low, beautiful oak chairs. I mean, look at this sexy little gal here, £2. That is insane. And these chairs are so easy to upcycle. Strip or paint the wood, recover the seat, you're done. If you want a large coffee table at a bargain price, very easy to do. You take a table like this, you take out a section on that pedestal, drop the top down, you've got a coffee table. These places are great for artwork as well. You can always switch out the frames. Sometimes the frames are just stunning on their own. And what I often do is actually remove the glass. Unless you've got an anti-glare, a museum type of glass in, you're going to get a really bad reflection. These are not expensive pieces. You're not trying to protect works of art. So slip the glass out, look much more high-end. My outdoor furniture came from here. It's actually conservatory furniture that I pulled the backs off, put my own cushions on, and they look fabulous. I love it when I stumble across things that I have absolutely no idea what they are for. And this is one of those items, but it's wood, so it's caught my eye. Well, that was a fun 5 hours. Yes, it's been 5 hours. I've had a great time. I've met lots of interesting people, had all sorts of chitty chats. And now everybody's packing up, shops are closing. So I'm going to go home, have my supper, probably have a nice glass of wine. And then tomorrow I will get everything out and I'll show you what I've got and what I plan on doing with it. Well, what a glorious day we have here. It is fabulous. So, reveal time. What did I buy? First up, I bought the wool. There's over 30 balls in here, £10. So what to do with this? Well, I haven't knitted since I was a child and I don't think I'm about to start now. No, I'm thinking this would be really good for the wrapping that I do. So when you want something a little bit softer or just something different from using the twine that I normally use. The other thing I have a hankering for is pom-poms. I've not done those since I was a child. I used to do it the old-fashioned way with donuts cut out of cardboard. So I quite fancy making some big, because you know me, I always go over the top, some big pom-poms for the autumnal, the fall, the winter, the Christmas decorating. So watch out, that's going to be coming up soon. So the next thing is the dish. Now this was £5. It's terracotta. It's really very heavy. And black is very much an accent colour this autumn. I'm seeing lots of black with neutrals. but I don't follow trends. And to be honest, black is not really my colorway. I'm more brown, so brown is the new black for me. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of a revamp on this one. So I will do that and I'll show you what I do. And when I was in that shop, I couldn't resist the jug. So this was £5.50. It needs a really good clean. It's very dirty inside. So I think a good soak in bleach. But other than that, I think it's great. And I'm just going to leave it as is. So it's fabulous for dry flowers, faux flowers, lots of real flowers, grasses. You could even have it on the side in the kitchen with utensils in it. Lots and lots of uses for jugs, pitchers. I always look out for these when I'm out and about. And if there's patterns on, different colorways that don't suit me, it's fine because they're so easy to paint. So absolute bargain. I'm going to clean that up and you'll see me style that later. Next item. It's the great big jug. Now this was marked up at £5. I actually got it for £2. It's got a big repair on this side. It almost looks as though something is almost like it's been shot. It's got a tiny little hole on the inside, so I don't quite know what went on and what poor things this vase has seen in its past. But this one, for £2, I'm going to do the stone effect that I like to do. And I think the chili flakes might come out and the herbs and spices. So that's definitely going to be made over very soon. Now, while I was in the store that I got the last one from, that I got the jug from, there was also this. Do you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of like a cable tie, you know, where you wind them round to stop cables getting all jumbled up. So maybe this was for string or rope or something once upon a time. But I'm thinking that I might well just use this in vignettes, particularly at Christmas time, you know, maybe have some baubles coming off, some beads. It's just going to be in the background somewhere. So I'm not going to go anything too heavy on this. I'm certainly not going to paint it. I love the natural wood. I'm just going to give it a very light sand, maybe oil it or wax it slightly just to clean it up. But I think that's so cute. Okay, next item. It's a big one. Oh, it is this. Yes. £5. I mean, can you believe it? And you know what I'm thinking? I'm not thinking for storage. As soon as I saw it, I thought Christmas tree. Oh my Lord, yes. Now I might take this off. I might leave it, not 100% certain. But I'm thinking maybe not the big trees that we use, because we use probably about a 9-foot and a 7-foot in the kitchen and in the snug. But in the hallway and in other areas around the house, I bring in smaller trees that I've grown right from when they were like diddy little babies. And now they're in really quite big pots. So into one of these, I'm thinking tree coming out, pad around and then put lots of pine cones in, pull some fairy lights through, maybe a nice blanket coming down the side here, possibly in the hallway, maybe my bedroom. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Christmas. Or should I wait for Christmas? I could even bring that in the autumn styling as well. Really excited. £5. And also the lid, I thought, I wonder if I could make a tray out of it. If I do take the lid off, so I've just got it for the tree to go in, could I make a tray out of the lid? We'll see. Now, I did go to one other place and I wasn't able to film there. It was, I think it was about 4 o'clock and they were packing up and wanting to leave. So I begged, please let me just have a quick whiz. All I want to see is the home decor, that's all. And so I found earthenware jug, and I have got one exactly the same. So now I have a pair, and they gave me this for £2. Just £2. Couldn't believe it. Absolutely. You cannot go wrong with a bit of earthenware. Again, that could be in the kitchen with utensils. You can have floral displays with it, or it can just sit there on its own looking very happy in amongst a vignette. And while I was in the same shop, I spotted on a wall a vintage mirror. Now, you know I have a weakness for mirrors. I think last count I have, if not over, then very close to 100 mirrors that I own across the cottage, the house, and in my storage unit. So I like a mirror. Let me show you. So this one, this gorgeous vintage mirror for, get this, £4. £4. And then because they were closing up, they were in a hurry. And I suddenly realised they didn't do card, and I had no cash on me because, I mean, who carries cash these days? We just don't. So they were so sweet, and they said they didn't know me because it was one that I had never visited before, that I could take the jug and the mirror and just drop the cash off this morning, which I've duly done first thing as soon as they opened up. So yeah, £6 for the two. Unbelievable. This will get a makeover, and I'm going to probably do the Annie Sloan paint that I use, the old white chalk, and then distress it back and then layer this up with other mirrors, which is what I love to do. I love to build up those layers. So my total spend for all of those items is £36.50. I'd say that was quite a good shopping afternoon. Lots of lovely home decor there. You're recycling, you're saving yourself lots of money. It's good for the planet, it's good for your wallet, and you create unique pieces as well. So I'm up for this vintage thrifting every time. So let's go and get these made over, and we'll get them styled around the house. Normally I would show you how I do each individual piece start to finish, but today I'm doing everything in one day, so I'm going to show you how I sequence everything. So first off is the dish, and I'm just popping that on a tin in order to lift it up to spray it, and I'm going on with a brown spray. This is going to give me my base coat, so whilst that dries I'm going to start on the mirror. First thing I'm going to do is remove the old wire and give it a general tidy up. Sometimes these come with lovely chains on them, but unfortunately this didn't. After a really good clean, then we're going to move on to the painting. I'm going with just a normal flat brush, old white Annie Sloan chalk paint. Again, I like to elevate. It just makes painting around the edges a lot easier. Once I've done a first coat on that, I'm going to set that aside to dry because I'm going to pop back over to the dish and we're going to flip it over and go with a coat of spray paint on the top there. Once that's on, I'm popping that on the ground because I need space on my little bench, and we're going to hit the vase. Now my lovely regular viewers know exactly what I'm doing here. If you're new to the channel, then this is a technique that I use in order to create a stone effect on pots. I have got a video on detailed step-by-step instructions how to do this, and I will link it in the description below. Using wall filler, soil and spices in order to create a stone effect. Now that is done, I'm going to set that pot to one side and I'm going to jump back on the mirror and give that one a second coat. Now while that's going off, I'm now going to jump onto the cable tidy, I think we're now going to be calling it, and I'm giving it a very light sand with a 120 grit. It's got a lot of wax on it, which you can see on the sandpaper here. So now I've taken it back as far as I want to. I'm just going to use a little bit of white wax, but in order to keep that colour down, I'm dipping it into the dust, into the sanding dust. and that takes away that brightness. This is obviously a vintage piece and I don't want it looking like new. I'm using a rag now just to smooth out any surface wax, anything that's not been absorbed, because I don't want any brush marks. That's now going to sit and dry, and now I'm going to jump back onto the bowl. I've got the wax out, so I'm going to take a little bit of wax and then very lightly I'm going to start moving that around the bowl, and where it's raised in areas, it will get hold of the wax and create this effect. This is much more my colorway than the black. It just softens it down. So these need to dry off overnight. I do have my able assistant here, my supervisor. So I'm back onto the mirror. I'm just going to give it a half pass. Then I'm going on to the trunk. It's going to get a good scrub. I'm going to patch in where some of the wicker was missing. And I've also got another cunning plan as to where this is going to live before I put a Christmas tree in it. I'm going to let that glue go off overnight. I'm going to jump onto the mirror now. We're going to distress that back and then we're going to start styling. Well, I hope that's given you some inspiration and motivation to get out there and thrift shop. Have a good hunt around. If it's not perfect, then you can always change it. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I hope you can join me next time.